Okay, so let's get going then. So this is the photograph associated with our article today, and it's on this website here, which is Popular Mechanics. Popular Mechanics, which seems a bit unusual, doesn't it? So, picture of the Earth, Popular Mechanics. That's right. Here we go. So this one is titled Scientists Just Proved That All Life on Earth Follows One Simple Rule. A new study provides empirical evidence for a rule explored by biogeographers for centuries. So I've highlighted that word there. That's an interesting word. Do you guys know what that means? We don't use it very often. It's a bit of a scientific word. It's sort of jargon. Anyone know what it means? Or wants to have a guess?
It's empirical. I don't know. In my language, it's there is the same word. It's called some experience which based on investigation on
Yes, that's it. That's exactly it, yes. So the opposite or an opposite of empirical might be sort of logic or theory. Yeah, theory would be the opposite of that. So a theory is you're sitting at home wondering about something and you come up with an idea. Whereas empirical evidence, in this case, you can actually point and see it happening. Look out the window and see there's an example of what I'm talking about actually happening. So this is sort of an opposite of theory, you might say. That's it. That's a sort of a new word there too, isn't it? So you've probably heard of geographers or geography, geographers. So this is put bio in front of it. So bio basically means life. So life geographers, really. And that's it. And which is quite a clever photo relating to that, isn't it? In that regard, isn't it? So the photo is on Getty, Getty Images, to give them a little credit. And the article was written by Darren Orf. Darren Orf. So let's carry on then. So Christina, you came in first. So it's over to you first. Now you're breaking up again a little bit. So it's a little bit hard to hear
So
what
I
you're.
said thank you for giving the stage again.
Say again,
And now
sorry.
the score, what is empirical for us in Italy, it's a real evidence. We're saying like truth evidence, empirical. So by the way, the empirical, if I'm not get wrong, it's a but I not get wrong. This is a Latin language, empirical. So
Okay. You're a little bit quiet at the moment. Is there any chance you can perhaps get closer to the microphone a little bit, perhaps?
may
We
I?
can. Oh, that's a bit louder then, actually. Yes, I couldn't quite hear you. So could you perhaps get
So
a little
that
bit closer to the
it's
microphone, or?
better. Now it's better. Can you hear me now? It's
Yeah,
better.
we can hear you very well in the sense that I can hear the volume, but the quality has disappeared, I'm sorry
Mm,
to say.
let's
Um,
see. Okay.
so you're a bit
I'll try to do.
noisy. Okay.
Oh, yeah, because I'll just stop it right now. Here is a bar here, like there's a bartender and people are having the drinks. So sorry for that. But I'm not basically at the bar, but I was just
Okay,
walking.
shall I come back to you at
So
the end
okay.
maybe? Or can you read?
I'd rather prefer right now if you don't mind. If you
Okay.
don't mind, of
Okay.
course. So the Earth
So
is
keep listening. And
okay.
so I'll hand over to Elena, if that's okay. If I just mute you as well, because it's hard to hear
No,
what's. That's it. Yeah, thank you.
can I read it? No, you can hear me. You said it is
Oh, yes,
better,
I can
no?
hear you now, actually. Yes. Okay,
Okay.
so do you want to carry on then or no,
So the
Christina?
Earth is home to incredibly remarkable and diverse biomes that host millions of species worldwide. George Lucas managed to create an entire galaxy a way for Star Wars using just the natural wonders mostly found in the state of California, although life appears relatively well distributed across countries and continents, bearing Antarctica, of course. A new study suggests that biodiversity isn't so much an evenly distributed blanket across the planet as it is a Transition organization. This is the insights gleaned from a new article published earlier this month in the journal Natural Ecology and Evolution, analyzing how organisms are divided into
Mm.
biogeographical regions or bioregions across the planet's surface. An international team of scientists from Sweden, Spain, and UK examined the global distribution maps of species across a variety of limbs on the tree of life, including amphibians, birds, this is amphibians,
Hmm.
birds, dragonflies, mammals, marine rays, reptiles, and even trees because of this vast swath of differing types of life. The researchers expanded that species distribution will vary widely due to environmental and historical factor.
Yes.
Historical, yes.
Yes, that was a very good reading. Well done. Very,
Mm,
very clear.
yeah.
Wonderful.
Was a little bit tricky because biogeographical.
And some tricky words in there. I think you did very well.
It's not
Yeah,
quite often in biogeographical. And
well, you struggled a little bit with that word to start with, but you
yeah,
gave a couple of
it's a
goes.
compound
But by the end, you had it spot on. So I wasn't going to mention that word. You did it very well, I
geographical,
thought. That's it. So
biogeographical.
biogeographical. That's it. You've got it.
Yes, because it's a compound word, bio and geographical. So they just,
Mm,
they link tied together, biogeographical.
yes.
Mm.
And I think initially you sort of you weren't quite the first go
Differing,
at this word, that's it, differing, that's it.
differing.
But you had two goes at it, but the second one was spot on, so that was very good. So well done for spotting a mistake. So there
Mhm.
and the biogeographical, that's very good. Well done. Were there any other words or things there you wanted to go back over to double check the meaning or pronunciation
Double
that you
checking.
noticed?
No, I know everyone, the meaning, of course, but maybe
Mm.
pronunciation, which ones? Oh, dragonflies. Dragonflies.
Yes, so you're almost there. So it's pronounced as
Dragonflies. Dragonfly.
that's it.
Yeah,
Dragonflies, that's it.
dragonflies.
So
Dragonflies. What
dragon
is
and then
what is
and what
that?
are they?
Dragonflies. I don't know. Dragonflies.
They
What
look a
is
little
that?
we get it's a little creature that flies
Ah, it's a
around.
creatures.
That's
Dragonflies.
it. And so
Ah, back in time because
this is the
nowadays it's
photo.
just creatures. Okay. Oh, cool. I got it. I got it. Okay. Flies. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And if you see one in
Okay.
real life, they're not very common. They can be quite large.
Oh,
I
really?
remember the first time I was a child, I saw one. It frightened me. It looked so peculiar, very
Mm-hmm.
unusual. It's perhaps 3 or 4 inches long, the one I saw. And I believe around the world you get different sized ones. And I think even in the
Yeah, of
times of
course.
the dinosaurs, they could be a
There
couple
was
of feet long. They're
different
much, much
creatures.
larger. They would be worrying. Okay. So that's what they
Dragonfly
are.
thing.
They're sort of normally around water. Wherever the water is, you may or may not get them, but they're not sort of in midland. Don't get them away in the middle of the city somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Uh, anything else you wanted to ask about there? That article, a little bit that you read out.
Not to be honest, no. No, I don't further. No.
Yes, I noticed dragonflies when you said it, so I'm going to
Yeah.
mention that one.
Yeah,
Uh,
because I was a little bit, like bewildered. What is the dragonfly?
bewildered.
Because I know what is mammals, amphibians, birds, marine rays, reptiles, the dragonflies. Now got it.
Mm.
It's better. So I can.
Also, in
So
this last
what?
sentence here, can you see the
Yeah,
word I'm highlighting? Can you see the word there
of
I'm
course.
highlighting?
So distribution will vary widely. Vary
Yeah,
widely.
yeah, we vary. Try some
Like
more.
very, 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 very.
Um, so when you're saying it, the word with I'm saying is this, vary, vary. But when you read it out, I thought you said this word, very. So they're quite similar sounding, aren't they? If I say both of them for you, so the top one
But you can
here
say
is
both of them. Yes, very or varying.
The top one is
So
very, very.
very, very.
Hold. Let me say both of them for you. You listen for a minute or two. Let me say both of them. So the top one is very, very. This one is very, very. So very and very. Very, very similar. So you could say variable is related to this word. So variable, very, variable, and very, very. So it's basically the vowel sound here. They're very subtly different, but it is tricky. So we'll come back to that one for the moment. We'll just look at
I
some
will,
other
I
things.
will, I would rather prefer this, looking, just stuck my brain bearable. So very bearable. So very will be easier. Like this is something that I can, like
Hmm.
spot on, pick it up and, like remember it somehow. Very, variable,
Hmm.
variable, very,
Yeah. But when you read it out, I actually heard this word here when you read it out initially. But
very.
they are quite
I
similar
said very.
sounding. Yeah.
I
That's a
said
bit.
very. It's true. I said very
Hmm.
widely. I said very widely.
That's okay.
So
So, let's go from the top down. I remember from the top. So, do you fancy rereading? Well, that little bit there, do you fancy just rereading
rereading.
that bit there?
George Lucas managed to create an entire galaxy far, far away from Star Wars.
That's it. You've got it. Yeah. So originally, I think you said four here, FOR.
Ah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So is it?
that's
So why do you think it says far, far? Why does it say that there? Why does it repeat itself?
well,
What's it
just
saying?
repeat it, in terms of saying, look, it's far, far away. I mean, just, worded to say to me, for interlocutors, look, guys, it's far, far away, this,
Okay.
the
To
Star Wars.
emphasize it.
Emphasizing, yeah, to,
Okay. Yeah.
underline and, like pointing out and
Okay. So
emphasizing above all.
yeah, it does do that. But in this case, it's slightly different. You are right, I suppose. True, but here, have you ever in the film Star Wars, made about
Mhm.
50 years ago, or whenever it was, by George Lucas? At the very beginning of the first film in that story, it starts something like this. It says, "In a galaxy far, far away." So that's the film actually starts with those few words. So this is a quote of a film. That little bit there. So it's
It's not,
cultural. It's to do with culture, obviously
okay.
in the film. I think it's the only Star Wars film I remember seeing. So there
Mhm,
we go. That's particularly why it's there.
mhm.
Um, and why does it say? Why does it say that? Why does it put these two words together? What does that mean?
All together, bearing Antarctica. Well, when you're saying the continents are bearing something, you're trying to somehow coping with, you're bearing something, like,
Ah, okay.
yeah,
Well,
well, you're bringing into Antarctica something, you're bearing something. Could be
if
heavy, could be, like even information, you're bearing something,
mm,
worded to
you'd
in
be
this way.
absolutely you would be absolutely spot on if there was an
Uh-huh.
E where my cursor is, an E right
Um,
there. So if we just search
so,
this particular word, so hopefully Google will help us here.
with E, you're perfectly right, pairing. Yes.
So
Yeah, you're
let's
right.
listen to how they say it. Let's listen.
Barring.
Ah, so it's barring, barring.
Um,
So it's the root word is bar here, bar. So in that case, how would you explain that now then? Barring, what does that mean? So when you say barring, what does that mean?
but this is a further meaning, maybe. I mean,
Hmm.
something that, no, I'm just wondering because I'm not sure.
Okay. Oh, right.
Boring.
Okay. Okay. If you say barring something,
Mm-hmm.
you're
Mm-hmm.
excluding it. You're excluding it. So in this case, when they say barring
It's like
Antarctica,
exceptions,
no,
kind of
no, they're exclude.
exception.
Listen to me a moment. they're excluding Antarctica for some reason, probably because it's so cold there. I don't know exactly. So they're excluding it. So I might say all students, excluding, let's say, Michael or any of you, please do this. Does that make sense? So I might say
It makes
excluding, or I could say
sense.
barring. That's one way of saying it.
Or I know the word banning, like when you're forbidding something, you're
Yeah,
prohibiting something,
I suppose there's a
that
vague
describe.
similarity there. Yes, there is vague similarity.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
partly
You're
true.
banning, if you ask me, Christina, ban something, definitely. But I never thought that, bearing is also connected, like
Yeah,
kind
so
of
this is
forbidding,
barring.
prohibiting some barring. Yes,
That's
sorry,
it.
barring.
Barring. That's it.
Barring.
So this word here, what is that word? Could you just try say it again for me?
Barring. So for
In
okay.
blue, the one in blue?
Oh, which okay. Blue, yeah, a sign, like gleaned from a new article. Glean.
Mm,
Well, when
right.
you're saying gleaned, yeah, clean.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. Gleaned. Gleaned.
Well,
Could you say it
it's
again for
basic. If
me?
as
Gleaned?
yeah, you got it. Something. As far as I know the gleaned is something you're getting, or something you're obtaining, you're taking,
Yes, that's it. Yes.
isn't it?
Mm.
Cleaning something. Just get it.
Gleaned. Gleaned. That's it.
Cleaned, cleaned. Yeah.
It's not really.
Barring.
It's not
Yeah, it's just
really. Hold on. It's not really cleaned. I think you said cleaned once there.
no, no,
So
clean,
that's
clean,
it. You've got it. That's it.
clean. No, I said clean. Sorry.
Okay. Were there any other words there that you wanted to go back over again to double
Thank you for
check?
helping me with barring something, which means forbidding, forbidding something.
That's it.
Barring, Chris. Remember it, Christina. No, no, no. I thought that is something that you're coping with. You have to, like bringing from and trying to handle it. But yeah, I was that in general, overall, it's fine.
Great. Okay, that's good.
Thank you for
Does
helping me. I really appreciate it.
does anybody else have any questions about this little bit we've just read out here? Is everyone else okay? Elena, Michael, Penge?
I have one. What does it mean, core to transition?
It's in quotes, and I think really the whole article is going to explain that. I don't
Yeah,
think I can explain it unless I really think about it.
have you ever heard about like this is the core of the situation, or this is the core of our economical situation? You're saying the core
Hmm.
is basically the the situation in general, over
Hmm.
above all, like the biggest. Maybe there is a problem. Say, look, this is the core of the situation. Can't do different.
Well, probably,
So
probably you might say the heart or the deepest
yeah, the
point,
core,
the midpoint, something like
the
that. Yes.
midpoint or midpoint, or
Yeah.
the like the principal point, which is important point. The main.
So what do you think it means then, Elena, where it says core to transition? What does that mean, do you think? So it means the heart to somewhere. What does it mean, Christina, do you think?
Sorry, you're asking me.
Yes, Christina, what does it mean, Christina?
You're asking what is the core of the
What
this
does it mean?
core, as I said, this is the principal situation. Like, look, I will say all phrases.
Oh, we can't really
And
hear
what
you now, I'm sorry to
okay,
say.
so
We can't really hear you
distributed
now.
blankets across the planet as it is a core to transition organization. So this organization, the core business or the core situation for them is to distribute it, in this case, blanket. So all around the world, across the planet. So this is the main goal, guys. I would say like the core principles, the main goals is to definitely distribute it and like blankets. So yeah, I don't know if I was enough clear.
Okay, that's a good idea. Okay, let me try to explain what my understanding is. So when it says core to transition, what it's saying is it okay, Christina, if you just mute yourself for the moment? because you're a bit noise in the background. That's it. Thank you, Christina. So I think we're talking about life and where it is spread around its biome. So any sort of particular form of life will be at home in its core, in its the heart of where it normally lives. But life tends to spread out. It doesn't stay just in one place. It sort of spreads out as it grows successfully in its core land, where it thrives, you might say. It then tries to spread out. Naturally, that happens, and it then spreads out to an area, to a transitional area, where it isn't quite so much at home. So the core is like the heartland where it grows and lives, and it's the best environment. But the transition is the area where it's okay, it can just about survive there, but it's not perfect conditions. That's my understanding of the idea of core to transition. And I think it's a new idea that they're sort of trying to sort of sell. And I had forgotten that. I sort of just remembered as you were talking about it. So thank you, Christina. Let's go over to Elena, if that's okay. So this is
Mhm.
your one now, Elena, if you can read
Yeah,
this a
yes,
little bit
yes,
here.
yes.
Thank you.
However, what they discovered in that life all around the world pro- prolifer-
Mhm.
sorry, proliferates through a very similar process. First, there is a core area where life appears to flourish, and from there, species tend to radiate outward, hence, core to transition organization. In every bioregion, there is always a core area where most species live. Ruben Bernarda Madrid, a co-author of the study from UME University, said in a press statement, "From that core, species expand into surrounding areas, but only a subset manages to persist. It seems these cores provide optimal conditions for species survival and diversification, acting as a source from which biodiversity radiates outward. These core regions are immensely important as they only cover about 30% of the world's surface but contain more biodiversity than the other 70%. These regions likely evolved because they were originally refugees from the devastation brought on the past climatic events, such as the last glacial maximum. The study also shows that overall species must be well adapted for heat and drought to colonize new areas beyond these core bioregions.
Very good. That was a good reading. Well done.
Thank you.
Okay. So anything you want to ask about there that you
Oh, it's
sort of...
very complicated. It's a science
Yes, it's a bit technical. Yes,
article.
tricky. That's really why we're reading it, I think. Is there anything in particular, though?
Flourish, it's like hmm, how it's explained.
What
When
word?
all flowers give a flowers at the same time. So flourish.
I'm not quite sure. Is it a particular word we're talking about here? Or
It's a first paragraph.
yes,
Yes. Life appears to flourish.
flourish.
Mhm.
If something is flourishing, it's doing particularly well. I have some flowers in my garden, and when I feed them chemicals that they like and lots of water, they flourish. They do really well. Lots of nice shoots come out and lovely flowers. But when I don't feed them water, they don't flourish. They die off.
Mhm.
So that's it, flourish, do well, particularly well.
Yes, okay, it's prosper, like
That's it. So you could say children at school tend to flourish when they're treated nicely, you might say. There's lots of ways you could use the word. That's it. That's it. You've got it, I think. Anything else?
diversification.
That's spot on. I was going to mention actually, when you said that, you couldn't really improve on that. Yes, diversification. Spot on. That's exactly it. Yes.
And one word I couldn't.
Hmm.
The first paragraph, second line. Yes,
That one. Yeah.
yes.
So we normally end up saying pro to start with. So pro then proliferates.
Proliferate. Hmm.
That's it. Try again once more.
Proliferates.
Yeah, that's it. You've got it, I think there. That's it. So it's this, not entirely different from flourish. The two words do go together, but let's quickly search it and see what Google says the difference is more precisely. So proliferates. So let's listen to how they pronounce it.
proliferate,
That's it. So increase rapidly in number, multiply. That's it. And their little example sentence here is in science fiction magazines which proliferated in the 1920s. That's a little sentence using the word. That's it. Yeah, that's it. Do you want to say it once more? The word.
Proliferates.
Yeah, proliferates. That's it.
Mhm. It's not unusual word, so I don't know how many people use it in a common speeches, common
Uh,
talks.
It's probably slightly out of the normal conversation, but you definitely read it in the newspapers. Crime has been proliferating recently because of lack of something or other. It does get used quite a bit, but it is a little bit out of the normal everyday use. You read it in the newspapers and books and magazines, I'm sure, online like this. um,
Immensely. Yes,
yeah,
yes. Immensely.
yeah. So you pretty much got it really. So immensely, it's more immense.
Immensely. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Try again. Immensely. Once more.
Immensely.
Yeah, you've got it. That's it. Yeah, yeah, you got it. That's good.
What does it mean?
Oh, very. It's sort of a way to add weight to something. You use this word, you're trying to add weight to it immensely. So let's just search it. Let's use Google for a change. So to a great extent, extremely. To a great. So it's a word to say in the example sentence here is to show. The show was immensely popular with children. So their sort of similar words are very,
Very.
extremely, exceedingly, exceptionally,
Mhm.
especially. Okay. So very is a way to add emphasis, you could say, in a way. So
Evolved.
it,
These regions likely evolved.
yeah, that's not too bad, but it's the V's are tripping up slightly, aren't they?
Evolved.
That's, so that's it there, I think. Evolved. We say evolved. Do you want to say it? Try again. So evolved.
Evolved.
Yeah, that's pretty good. But yeah, yeah, so it's not too bad. But having lots of V's makes it hard to understand, I guess, isn't it? Um, Maybe a similar word, but looking completely differently. But for it's similar for, I think anyway. So this one is world. World. Could you do that one as well for me?
World.
Yeah, yeah. So it's not quite as clear as many of your other ones are, but so this one's a bit on the weak side. It's similar to perhaps the of evolve as well, I guess. So, Perhaps you do both of these ones. So evolved, evolved.
Evolved.
That's getting better, I would say. Maybe this one, world, world.
World.
And again, world.
World.
Yeah, yeah, that's getting better, I think. Yeah. Okay, we'll leave it for the moment. Hope we'll come back to it. Just a slight one here. So, so I would say it looks like outward. We don't really say that. We more just it gets pronounced as outward, outward. Just try again. Outward.
Outward.
Yeah.
Outward.
So it's got ward on the end, but we don't say ward. We actually say wood, as if it was WOOD. That's pretty much what we say. Outward, outward.
Outward.
Yeah, that's it.
Mm.
And I think I've had this before. So pretty much everywhere where you see ward in the middle of a word, if it's on its own, if it's just the word WARD on its own, we say it as ward, as in hospital ward.
Mhm.
But if it's in a word, like in this case here, outward or something like that, or homeward perhaps, we say it as home wood, WOOD. We pronounce it that way. Strangely, I know, but pretty much everywhere. And so outward is there, and it's also down here too. I noticed it. I didn't notice it anywhere else. So
Third paragraph. One
mhm.
word. Devastation.
Yeah,
From
that
the
sounds
devastation.
that sounds pretty good the way you said it. Yes, devastation. That's it. Devastation. Yeah, that's pretty good. I think good pronunciation.
Meaning of this word, please.
Say again. Sorry.
What does it mean, the meaning of this word?
So normally devastation is something about destruction. Something bad has happened. If a house has been devastated, it's in a bad state of order. Perhaps it's been destroyed. Might be devastated, or it could just be very badly affected by something. So yeah, devastation.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, all my crops were destroyed, and other houses other farms experienced devastation because of the storm or something like that. You might
So
use
this
that
is
sense.
explanation what happened with Earth after last glacial maximum.
Oh yeah, that's what it's saying, isn't it? The word below, yes, glacial. So that's
Glacial.
glacial, glacial.
Glacial. Mm-hmm.
I think when you said this word here previously, when you read it out, you put an extra E there. So if you put an extra E there, it's refugees. And you said
Refugees, yes.
but there's just one E. And so when it's one E, any idea how it's pronounced that way? When it's just the one E? So two E's is refugee, or
Mm-hmm.
but this has only got the one at the end. So
Refugees.
no, not quite, no. So let's put it in the dictionary actually. Let's put it in good old dictionary. So basically it's refuge. Refuge. Jail, there's the really. Let's have a look. Refuge. Refuges. Refuges. So let's listen to how they say it.
refuge,
Yeah, so refuge. So refuge and refugee. That's the difference. If you put an extra E on the end, it becomes refugee. So, but with the S, it sounds
refuges,
refuges. Okay. So just something to be aware of, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
What did I notice? I noticed this word down here. Um, do you know the meaning of this word?
The past sense of something.
Not really. I think this is a noun, really. So
Oh.
this is the word drought. Let's put it in the dictionary, actually. Hear their pronunciation.
Oh.
So if lack of water is
Drought.
a drought. So
Drought.
let's listen to them.
drought,
A drought is a long period of time during which no rain falls. That's a drought. So we're talking about plants, I mean glacial max. I can't remember what you said now. So drought. I think you have it now. That's it. Drought.
Drought.
Drought. It's odd to look at, isn't it? Drought. That's it. I think at the beginning, so when you said this up here, could you just try to say this word again for me? I think it was pretty good, but just a little bit of practice maybe.
Discovered.
Oh, I think it was the ED. I think you have it now, yeah. So I think the ED wasn't quite right. So that's it, discovered. Discovered. That's it, you have it now, I think. Let's think. Anything else? Anything else that you noticed, Elena, at all?
It's very difficult to understand the sense of this piece of article.
Yes, it's a bit tricky, isn't it? So definitely tricky. But you've done very well, I think.
Thank you. Just go further, please. Next one.
Okay. Does anyone else have any questions I want to ask about this passage here? This little bit we've just read out. I can't see what I'm looking for, so there's a couple of other words I can't see them now. So anyone else have any questions? Do call out for right now. So do you want to do this word again, just to practice, Elena?
Evolved.
And again, evolved.
Evolved.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I think evolved. And the other one was this word up here, and that one there too.
A world.
Yes, world.
Mm-hmm.
World. This is a tricky word for a lot of people. And maybe that word again there.
Outward. Outward.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's it.
Outward.
And actually thinking about it, that word too is actually that word there. So
Radiates.
yes, radiates. Radiates. That's pretty good. Do you want to say it a couple more times? So radiates. Radiates.
Radiates.
Yeah, yeah.
Radiates.
Yeah, you've got it. You've got it. That's it. I think there was another one. Let me just could you do that word there for me?
Hence.
Yeah, that's it. Hence. Yes, that's it.
Chicken. Lady chicken.
Chicken?
No?
Would you mean chicken? Chicken?
Hens party, something like that, no?
So a hen, I guess, is a lady chicken, I suppose,
Yeah.
isn't it? You're thinking. But hence is a bit like therefore. It's sort of like a bit like the therefore or thus, you might say. So this has it has got nothing to do. It's a technical word. It hasn't. It's pretty
Hens.
big. Hence. So therefore or thus, you might use those words as. Let's see how they define it exactly. So adverb, use hence to indicate that a statement you are about to make is a consequence of what you've just said. So because of this, hence that is what you might say. Because of something I've just said, it's this is the case, or hence this is the case.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Therefore.
Therefore or thus, that's it. Okay, great. Okay, we'll leave it there then and we'll go on to Michael. Okay, it looks like we're going to overrun a little bit by a good 10, 15 minutes, I think. So sorry about that, everybody. We're going into such detail here. So thanks very much, Elena. So it's over to Michael now, that's okay. So it starts up here. So the predictability of the pattern. Let's restart up there. Thanks.
The predictability of the pattern and its association with environmental filters can help to better understand how biodiversity may respond to global change. Joaquin Calatayud, co-author of the study from Rey Juan Carlos University, said in a press statement. Of course, this core to transition organization idea isn't a new one. Biogeographers have largely illustrated this phenomenon over the centuries, but this is the first time that empirical evidence has confirmed these long-standing suspicions. Understanding the relationship between life and these bioregions can help inform conservation decisions while predicting how certain species may respond to a new type of climatic uncertainty, anthropogenic climate change. Our core to transition hypothesis and results, the author wrote, show that global variations in species richness can be better understood by unraveling the genesis of regional hotspots and the subsequent filtering of species to the rest of the biogeographical region.
Wow, that was very good. Well done. Very good. I like how a couple of places you stopped, such as here, and you corrected yourself. We had 2 or 3 goes at it. A couple of you done that actually. It's very good. Well done. Well done. And some words, this one here, so anthropogenic. I didn't realize that was here, but it's quite a difficult word to say, and you had it spot on. Well done. Very good. So anthropogenic. So I have a suspicion you know what this word means, Michael. How would you explain the meaning of that word then, that's in blue here?
It's a compound word with
Hmm.
two words, genic, anthropology, anthropology.
Hmm. That's it, yes. So
And
this,
anthropology, it's science about human and evolution of human, and
yes, yeah, it's those
and
two ideas
genetic,
put together, you're
and
saying, isn't it?
it's all related with genes, uh, genetic.
Anthropogenic. Okay, so they call it an adjective relating to anthropogenesis, created by people or caused by human activity. So you could say that lots of CO2 in the atmosphere is anthropogenic. In other words, people have caused it. So you could just put the word people in there, maybe, if you wanted to. So do they have a list of
Uh,
synonyms? So yeah,
yeah.
that's sort of it, isn't it? So it's a compound word, and they don't have a single synonym that I could see.
It's generated by human.
Created,
Anthropogenic.
yeah, created or
Created,
caused by
created.
humans. There we go. Yeah, so that's it.
Generated.
And there's their example, anthropogenic air pollution. That's the classic one, isn't it? They say, oh, here's your word origin. It's only been about 150 years, according to this little thing here. Didn't exist previously. Okay, let's back to the article then. So anything you wanted to ask about there? So it was a good reading, I thought. Well done. So anything you weren't sure about or want to confirm?
I don't know, maybe pronunciation.
Hmm.
We, v, in.
Uh, a couple really, yes. With pronunciation, I was impressed with your giving
Yeah,
the sort of the Spanish pronunciations you had here. So it looks like a J, but a lot of people say Joaquin, I suppose, and Juan here. In English looks like Juane maybe, but it's Juan, isn't it? I think that's it. But your pronunciation was fantastic. I really like that. Very good. Um, So what did I notice? Besides those those that bit there, I think could you say that word again there for me, maybe?
suspicious, suspicions,
Yeah. So I would say it is suspicions.
suspicions.
Yes. I think there's a slight Spanish. I think you're saying it the slight Spanish way actually, but I'm not very good on Spanish, or I don't know anything about Spanish actually. Yeah, that's pretty good. Suspicions. I think when you said this word, you said it a couple of times. You just want to practice it a little bit more. So, do you want to say it once more?
Phenomenon.
Oh, perfect. Phenomenon. That's it. So there's two versions of this word. What's the other one? So there's two word. So this is one of them. What's the other one? So phenomenon. What's the other one? So the other one ends in an A, doesn't it? So how would you say it if it ended in an A?
Phenomenon.
So yes, phenomenon. That's it. You've got it. So let's stick it in the dictionary. That's good pronunciation, actually. So I can't really improve on how you're saying it, but I'm just asking a question to test you a little bit. So they're calling it a word form. So they've got an A on the end, haven't they? There you see. How do they say it?
Phenomena.
So phenomena. So a phenomenon is something that is observed to exist or happen. So phenomena with the A is sort of like the plural when you have lots of phenomena. It's the sort of the plural, isn't it? Sort of. So it's
Phenomena.
phenomena. A bit tricky, isn't it? And the Americans say it slightly differently. Okay, it's only a very minor thing, really, to be honest. And you
So
would have
phenomena, it's a plural form.
basically, yes. In essence, it's the plural. When there's lots of different strange things happening, and you want to point them out. Look, all these phenomena happening. I've never seen all these things happening before. When there are lots of things, but if it's just one, it's a phenomenon. A phenomenon. That's it. You've got it. There was a couple of things. I was just trying to think what they are that I noticed. So, so just that word there. Do you want to say that just that word there at the beginning of that paragraph down the bottom?
Hour, hour, hour.
Yeah, basically, yeah, you've got it there. Hour. It's sort of hour. On its own like that. At the start of a sentence, I would say it as hour. Hour. Um, yeah, okay. Hour. So it's exactly the same. If it's the same pronunciation, if you put an H in front, of course, it's a different word, and it's to do with time, isn't it? It's 60 minutes is an hour, but it's the same pronunciation. It comes every so often, doesn't it? And maybe that word just there again. That was a word I think you said a couple of times, wasn't it? Talks about,
Unraveling.
yeah, that's pretty good. Yes. So un means obviously the opposite. So unraveling. Unraveling. Just want to try that again. So unraveling.
Unraveling.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Yes, unraveling. And what does it mean if you unravel something?
It's unravel spread thread. It's
Yes,
when
yes,
you woven it, you try to unravel.
that's a good way of putting it. Yes.
It
So
split
if you,
split some threads or something.
mm, so if you've woven something, you might have to unravel the 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 thread that it's made of, or the wool or the cotton. You unravel it. Maybe it's in a knot, and you put it all together and it's then woven together into some cloth. That's it. So you unravel it, but then you make it back into something else, perhaps woven. That's sort of a strange sentence we might use. But normally with unraveling, you might say, in this particular case here, it's unraveling a problem. It's sorting out a problem, trying to bring all the threads together to make sense of something, all the bits of information together to unravel a problem. That's how they're using it here, I think, isn't it? There was that word there. I think when you said it, didn't sound. Could you give one more go? This word here, next to unraveling.
Genesis.
Yes, that's pretty much it, but it's a little bit more. So if I just say it for you, so Genesis, Genesis.
Genesis.
Ah, yeah, that's really good. Genesis, Genesis.
Genesis.
Yeah, that's pretty good actually. And so in English, the first book of the Hebrew Bible is Genesis. That's a noun. That's the name of it. When you say Genesis in this sense here, how would you explain the meaning of that word, Michael?
Um, Born something. Genesis, start of something.
Yeah, that's it, the start of something. How did it begin? That's it. That's it, exactly. The beginning of something. Maybe that word there too, if you can. I've moved the page a little bit.
Conservation.
Yeah,
Conservation.
that's pretty good.
Conservation.
So if I just reread, that sentence down to the bottom, and maybe including that word. So these bioregions can help inform conservation decisions while predicting how certain species may respond to a new life climatic uncertainty. I'll stop it there actually. So just to reread that little bit again there, maybe. So conservation, that's it. And again, the whole thing.
Conservation. Conservation.
That sounds pretty good. That's pretty good. That's it. Very good. Okay. Does anybody else have any questions about this little bit here that we've read out? Anyone else?
Actually, me.
Yes, yes, Christina.
Would you emphasize better, Mr. Tony, about unraveling a problem? You mean solving a problem, yeah?
Unraveling, solving a problem. I suppose it could well be it's solving the problem, yes. But
Yeah, I mean,
unraveling, there is the idea of you're going towards the problem, sorting out the problem. I
are you
suppose
trying to sort out the problem?
it's
Okay,
just trying to sort out something. But I
so,
suppose there is the idea that you probably do sort it out, but it's not necessarily just about sorting it out. It's the process, I guess, to my mind. Having said that, let's just put it into the dictionary and see what they say. May
okay,
completely
okay. So
disagree with
which is the opposite, raveling, which means creating a problem, isn't it? So
me.
yeah,
Not really. No, it doesn't. It doesn't work in reverse. I'm sorry to
doesn't
say.
work exactly. It doesn't work in reverse. So I was such, like discombobulated. Anyway, okay,
It's
cool.
more.
I got it. So you're sorting out something, unraveling something, no? Could be everything, not necessarily
So
an issue.
there's yeah. So there's this. There's a couple of different ways of using the word. You may be. I suppose it probably started out if you were unraveling a piece of, let's say, the Christmas lights. If you have lights around a Christmas tree or
Mm-hmm.
any sort of set of lights and you put them away in a cupboard
It's
and
sorting
it's a
them out.
long
Okay,
string, when
it's
you try to
understandable.
reuse something like that, they do tend to be a bit of
And
a
sorting
mess
them.
and you might unravel it. Um,
Okay,
so
okay.
I
It,
guess it's
it,
having a
it
mess
makes
and sorting it out, really.
it
Yes, so you're
better
saying something?
with with the like the lightning of the like the Christmas trees, then problems, I guess, unraveling something, because there's different methods of saying solving a problem, no? So yeah, anyway, thank you. I got it. Now it's better. Thank you.
Okay. Here they're saying, so I've taken off the ing, and they're saying if something such as a plan or system unravels, it breaks up or begins to fail. If you unravel something that is knotted, woven, or knotted, or knitted, I should say, or if it unravels, it becomes one straight piece again, or separates into its different threads. So they're saying about a piece of cloth being woven in the second example. The third use, if you unravel a mystery or a puzzle, or if it unravels, it gradually becomes clearer as you can work out the answer to it. So this is the idea here. I was saying here, it's about it gradually becomes clearer. This is what I was really saying here just now. But hopefully reading that explains it slightly better than I did, or a lot better than I did, I should say. So they say synonyms are solve, explain, work out, resolve. There's a good number. There's a good number of synonyms there. Oh, you're really breaking up now, actually, Christina.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Now I spot on, I hit the nail. So I thought that as, like, because normally, well, in general, you're not using with problems, unraveling the problem, no? I mean, I never heard that, of course. I'm talking about, like on daily basis. So people are not using this expression. So, but now you said there is different ways of usage, like, like with lighting of the Christmas trees. So definitely, of course, you can use this. So thank you.
Okay, thanks, Christina. So it's gone 7 o'clock. It's about 10 past in London at the moment. So Penge, sorry to keep you waiting. I hope you're still with us. Are you okay to start from the beginning of the article again, from the very top, and just read as much as you fancy, really, if you're still with us? Is that okay,
Yeah,
Penge?
okay, no problem. Thank
Sorry
you.
to keep you waiting.
No, no worries. The Earth is home to incredibly remarkable and diverse biomes that host millions of species worldwide. George Lucas managed to create an entire galaxy far, far away from Star Wars using just the natural wonders mostly found in the state of California. Although life appears relatively well distributed across countries and continents, barring Antarctica, of course, a new study suggests that biodiversity isn't so much an evenly distributed blanket across the planet as it is a transition organization. Uh, this is the insight gleaned from a new article published earlier this month in the journal Natural Ecology Evolution, analyzing how organisms are divided into biogeographical regions or bioregions across the planet's surface. An international team of scientists from Sweden, Spain, and the UK examined the global distribution maps of species across a variety of lands on the Tree of Life, including amphibians, birds, dragonflies, mammals, marine rays, reptiles, and even trees. Because of this vast swath of differing types of life, the researchers expected that species distribution would vary widely due to environmental and historical factors. Thank you.
Fantastic. Very, very good reading. Well done. Very good. Um, so anything you want to ask about there? Anything you weren't too sure of? You sounded very confident when you were reading. Anything you want to help with the pronunciation or the meaning, perhaps?
Um,
Penge?
yeah, actually, you have concluded
Mm,
all the things I want to ask. So,
yes, yes.
yeah,
That's
no,
good.
no, yeah, nothing to add. Thank you.
That's good. Well done. So with pronunciation then, so this word at the beginning is not very commonly used. It is a little bit scientific, and if you're interested in sort of biology, you probably do use this word quite a bit, or you might do, I should say. So this is biomes. Biomes. Could you say it again for me? Biomes.
Biomes,
Yeah, yeah,
biomes. Yeah.
that's it, that's it. Well done. Doesn't get a great deal of use. So what you're probably well aware of this, Penge. What you tend to find is that in everyday language we have a set of words that we use. Perhaps it's a few thousand. perhaps as many as 5,000 words, and they get used a great deal in everyday language, people talking to each other in the shops or at home. But when things are written, there's a much, much wider vocabulary of words that we use. So we're a bit lazy when we talk one to another. We use a whole set of one words. But when it comes to the written word, we want to be slightly more interesting, I guess. And so we end up using a whole set of different words. And so in one paragraph, we might want to, because we're talking about a particular subject, we might use that one word several times in a paragraph. But to make it more interesting, we avoid using the same word again and again, and we just find a different way of saying pretty much the same thing. So, as we said earlier on, so there's some words we looked at. Was it unravel? So for unravel, we could have said undo or separate or distangle or free up rather than unravel. So, but they said unravel. So there we go. I'm sure you're well aware of that probably. Um, so maybe the word core. So yeah. So do you fancy just saying that little sort of phrase there, core to transition? Transition. Do you fancy just saying that again? So core to
Code,
transition.
code transition. Code transition.
Core. That's it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
code.
Cool. That's it. Pretty. I think. Core. That's pretty good. So any words that you want to practice with pronunciation, particularly?
Um, Let me see. Oh, is that right to pronounce the species? Species.
Yeah, that's it really. Yes, species. Yeah, it's a little bit tricky, isn't it? Species. That's it.
Yeah, yeah. It's just it's weird to see the
It.
the
Mm,
spell of the this words, and but pronunciation is species.
yes, it's not obvious, is it? Sometimes the S, sorry, sometimes the C is pronounced as an S, and
Oh,
it starts with an S, the word, and it ends in an S, and there's another S sound in the middle, which is a bit tricky, isn't it? So
yeah.
it doesn't look obvious. It isn't obvious. It trips me up sometimes, I think, when I see it. I was thinking maybe we could just reread that sentence. I think that's a sentence there. So I think this has some of the trickier words in it. So do you want to just reread that little bit there in blue for me?
Okay, an international team of scientists from Sweden, Spain, and the UK examined the global distribution maps of species across a variety of limbs on the Tree of Life,
Mm,
including sorry, amphibians, birds, dragonflies, mammals, marine rays, reptiles, and even trees.
mm.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's a lot.
the A start the A start word. I don't know how to pronounce it.
That
Yeah.
that word there. Well, you
Yes.
pretty. That's yeah. That you're pretty close actually. So amphibians, amphibian.
Amphibians. Okay.
So so bird. We all know what birds are, and we know what trees are, and there's lots of other little things it mentions. So do you know what amphibians are? Do you know what they are? It's kind of a creature. Any
Yeah, I
idea?
don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, okay. So amphibians are, so they're not birds and they're not trees. So they are, amphibians are animals such as frogs, toads that can live both on land and in water.
Oh,
So they cross between the two, or they can live
okay.
between the two. There we go.
Yeah, I got it.
So does that mean that we are, because humans can go into the water? I go swimming once every so often. I go into the bath occasionally. I wonder if we're amphibians. I'm joking. I'm joking. No, don't bother answering.
Yeah, I
So,
don't know.
there was this. You're pretty close in this word too. Do you want to try that word again?
Mammals. So,
That's
Yeah.
pretty much it, really.
Yeah.
So I'll say it for you. Mammals. Mammals.
Mammals.
Yes.
Mammals. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm saying mam, or probably
Yeah.
mammals. Mammals.
Mammals. Yeah.
So humans are a kind of mammal. Humans
Yeah.
are mammals, basically.
Yes.
Uh, Pretty much everything, well, a lot of things that live in the sea are, well, fish, you might say, I guess. But whales are a kind of mammal, I believe. Believe it or not. So I think it basically means air breathing. I'm not quite sure, really. Rather than oxygen dissolved in the water. So just above it is another word. This word there. How would you say that word?
Um. Oh, it should be leaves. Leaves.
Yeah. So that word that letter is silent.
Okay.
So
Okay.
try again. Have a guess. Just guess it,
Lim
maybe.
limbs.
That's pretty much it, really. So limbs,
Okay.
limbs.
Limbs.
That's it. So and what does limbs mean? What are limbs? Any idea?
It means edge of something. Just
The
the
the the edge of something.
yeah limbs.
I suppose sort of really, but I have four limbs. So
Oh.
I have two legs and two arms. That's my limbs.
Oh. Yeah.
That's what it means. That's what that word means, limbs. But you can
Got
also say a tree. You can also say a tree has limbs. So each of the branches, we
Oh.
often refer to them as limbs as well. So if you work with trees, you might talk about the limbs of a tree. And obviously an animal will have limbs as well, of course.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah. Got
There we
it.
go.
Limbs. Just the hand, the leg, and the branches.
Yeah, in this case, there's sort of branches for the
Yes.
for a tree.
Branches.
That's it.
Yeah.
So your arms and your legs are your limbs. That's it. And maybe the name. This is the name of a country. So say that again for me.
Span.
Yeah, base pretty much. So Spain.
Oh, Spain. Okay.
Spot on. Spain. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it. You've
Spain.
got it.
Yeah. I got it. Thank you.
Thank
So maybe that
you.
word
See
again,
you.
just to practice. Oh, hang on a second, Christina. Just that word there again, maybe,
Okay.
Christina.
Okay. Amphibians.
That's
Amphibians.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Amphibians, that's it. So you get it. So the PH obviously an F sound, isn't it, really? So
Yeah.
amphibians.
Yes.
And maybe that one again there.
Mammals.
Yes, good, good. Mammals. Mammals. That's
Yeah.
it. And the word just above it there is
Limbs. Limbs.
the B is silent.
Yes. The B is silent. Limbs.
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 Yeah.
So let's just pop it into the dictionary. Let's hear them say it. And also, there's sometimes there's some interesting little comments to make. So I've put it as plural here. So here we go. So your limbs are your arms and legs. How do they say it? This is
Limbs.
limbs. Limb.
Limbs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you look here, and there's sort of the code, it looks like an L, an I, and an M. Limb. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, just to emphasize that. Okay.
Yeah.
So, so the branch, spur, projection. They're saying a projection, something projecting out of something might be called a limb as well. They're saying here, or an offshoot.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So, anything else you want to go back over again there? A pretty good reading, I think. Well done.
I think that's enough. Yeah.
That's good. And so what does barring mean again? We had it at the beginning. So what does it mean? Do you remember?
Yeah.
So
It means excluding something.
that's it. Yes,
Yeah.
you're excluding something. That's
Yeah.
it.
Excluding.
Maybe that one word there again.
Code transition. Code to transition.
Yeah, so you're better when you first said it, but you're slightly easing away from the center of the how it's normally pronounced. So core,
Oh,
core.
sorry. Code to transition.
Yeah,
Code
that's good.
for
That's it.
transition. Yeah. Oh.
That's it. Well done, well done. Okay. Does anyone else have any questions about this bit that would be reread it again? Anyone else have other questions? Great. Hopefully you don't, because we've already gone through this once, haven't we? Having said that, I noticed when you read this word out here, I think you said I think it was the American way, this word here. So there's two, so the British say, well, let's put it in the dictionary, let's cheat. So there's swath and swathe. That's probably the two ways it's mainly gets said, and I think you said it more the American way. It doesn't matter, I'm just highlighting it out of interest, really. So it doesn't really mention which is which, but you can spell it with an E on the end here, they're saying. So let's listen to this way.
Swarth.
So swarth and
Swathe.
yeah, I think we say it more this way. Swathe, I would say.
Swathe.
Swathe. But I think the Americans say more swath.
Swarth.
Yeah, Americans say swath more, I think, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. Okay, so but I think everyone, Americans and the British, would understand it either way. I think you find there are a lot of words which are said slightly two different, slight variations, but we all understand these different varieties of ways of saying it. Right. So you guys, perhaps we'll stop the recording there. So what do you guys think of this then? As an interesting subject or a bit boring? How would you describe that?
I found it's interesting and useful, and to help me learn new words. And
Oh yes.
actually, I don't know. I don't know these words before before I reading this.
Oh, a lot of some new words for you then. Yes.
Yeah. Actually, it's very helpful
Mm.
to do this, to know some new words and the
Mm.
pronunciation of these words, and I like them and like it. And